Have you ever closed your door, walked away, and wondered what your cat is thinking the moment you disappear? Most people assume cats don't really care, that they're independent, distant, maybe even relieved when the house finally goes quiet. But what actually happens in your cat's mind after you leave is far more emotional and far more surprising. The moment you step out, your cat doesn't just move on. They notice immediately, not in a dramatic way like a dog might, but in a quiet, observant shift. Your scent lingers in the air, your footsteps fade, and the environment changes. To your cat, something important has just been removed from their world. At first, they wait. You might imagine them going straight to sleep, but many cats will sit still for a while, ears slightly alert, as if expecting you to return any second. This is because, in their mind, your absence isn't fully processed yet. You've left before, and you've always come back, so they hold on to that pattern. But then something subtle happens. As minutes pass, your cat begins to move through the house differently. They might walk into the room you were just in, sniff the air, or settle into a spot where your scent is strongest: your bed, your clothes, even your chair. This isn't random. It's their way of staying connected to you when you're not physically there. And here's something most people misunderstand. Cats don't experience time the way we do. They don't think in hours or schedules. Instead, they live in patterns and associations. So when you leave, they aren't thinking you'll be gone for 8 hours. They're thinking something familiar is missing. For some cats, especially those deeply bonded to their owner, this absence creates a quiet form of stress. Not panic, not chaos, but a kind of emotional tension. You might never see it directly, but it can show up in small ways, like pacing, checking doors, or becoming unusually still. In fact, studies on feline behavior have shown that many cats form strong attachment bonds, similar in some ways to what we see in children. When their human leaves, they don't just lose company, they lose a source of safety and emotional grounding. That's why some cats develop little rituals. They might sit by the door, they might return to the same window over and over again, or they might fall asleep in a place that smells like you, conserving their energy while they wait for the world to feel complete again. And then there are moments you never see. The quiet wandering, the soft meow into an empty room, the brief pause when they hear a sound outside that almost feels like you coming back. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Not all cats react the same way. Some seem completely relaxed after you leave, stretching out and enjoying the silence. But this doesn't always mean they don't care. In many cases, it means they trust the environment you've created. They feel secure enough to rest because your presence, even in absence, still exists in their space. Your routines matter more than you think. The time you usually come home, the sounds you make, even the way you interact with them before leaving, all of these build a predictable pattern, and cats rely on that pattern to feel safe. When you leave, they're not just waiting for you, they're waiting for the pattern to complete itself. And then comes the moment everything changes. The sound of keys, footsteps outside, the subtle vibration of the door. Before you even step inside, your cat often knows you're there. Their ears perk up, their body shifts, and suddenly the house feels alive again. That calm, quiet waiting turns into recognition. And when you finally walk in, their reaction tells you everything. Some cats run to you, some pretend they don't care. Some slowly approach, tail raised, eyes soft, but underneath every reaction is the same truth. They noticed you were gone. They felt the difference, and in their own quiet, instinctive way, they were waiting. Because to your cat, you're not just someone who feeds them or shares a space. You are part of their environment, part of their routine, part of their sense of safety. And when you leave, something important goes missing, only to return again the moment you walk back through the door.